You have a moral responsibility to make yourself happy and to find the right woman. Why is that? Well, if you're not happy, then you will unconsciously exhibit negative energy that's going to impact the people around you in a negative way. Your playing small does not serve the world. You have to understand that your existence has a ripple effect. You don't just exist in a vacuum. Every person you come in contact with, your family members, your current children, your future children, they all depend on you being the happiest and strongest version of yourself. Once you understand that it's your responsibility to make yourself happy, maybe then you'll take this area serious. Maybe then you'll take your nutrition serious. Maybe then you'll continue to take exercise serious. Maybe then you'll start listening to yourself and tuning in. Yes, responsibility, in the way that Jordan Peterson explains it, means bearing a cross, doing the difficult things. And by the way, that could also just be approaches, could also be dating apps. It means carrying what life has given you. Absolutely, that's part of it. But it also means that you put yourself in the best energetic state possible every single day. Do you think your children learn from what you tell them? Do you think they actually listen to what you tell them? Or do they just model your behavior? Do they just model their mom's behavior? They model behavior, they model the energy, they model the love that's been given to them. And when I was married to my ex-wife and I wasn't listening to my own needs and I was deeply unhappy in the relationship, not because she's a bad person, simply because we're not compatible, and I wasn't making myself happy, the people I was getting in touch with, they weren't benefiting from being around me for that year and a half. Yeah, obviously I was still a good person. Obviously I was still trying to make their life better, and I was still teaching karate at my university. So it wasn't that it was an utter net negative, that my existence was a complete net negative for the world, but I definitely wasn't touching people to the extent that I am now. You can only become the happiest and best version of yourself and thereby make other people happy if you're true with yourself. And I've talked at length what that means in terms of communicating and being radically honest. But it also means listening to what's going on inside of you. What needs do you have? And if you've been grinding in your career or your business for many years, maybe now is the time to look after yourself. And it doesn't mean that you're going to stop working. You never stop working. Because if you're somewhat of an achiever, you'll only feel alive if you're making progress towards a goal. Yeah, maybe you'll take a week off or two, but eventually you're going to keep going. But maybe it would be nice to have somebody by your side, finally, who you can grow together with. Because if you have that source of love, some beautiful woman by your side that you can build a family with, or if you already have a family, then maybe just the two of you, that's going to make you so happy from the inside. You don't even know what you're currently missing out on. You don't even understand how beautiful it can be to share life's experiences, to travel somewhere to a location like this. Being here by yourself is all well and nice. People always talk about, solo traveling. That's lonely as hell. The happiest solo travelers aren't actually that solo. They are the ones who connect with other people. They are the ones who go and talk to people and socialize. Just traveling and being alone by yourself, you'll enjoy that for a couple of days and then you get lonely as hell, because we all, as human beings, have a deep need for love and connection. We are meant to connect to other people, which means having people around us. And Andrew Huberman actually talked about something very, very interesting. It's not just that we need deep and meaningful relationships. Yes, absolutely. I talk about that all the time. Quality male friends, the right girlfriend, life partner or wife. But it's also short interactions. Even just having a very positive encounter with a lady at the reception, with the Uber driver, with the people at Bachata and Salsa. Short positive interactions, a little bit of eye contact with a variety of people throughout the day has also been shown to increase our happiness. If you want to be happy, you need to connect to people in general. And that's why when I help my clients, or I'm encouraging you to find the right girlfriend, life partner, or wife, you're not going to be able to do that just being isolated. You can't find the perfect person just by snipering and then just manifesting, or you're going to have to meet a lot of people and you'll actually have to start to enjoy it. But that's why the process will ultimately become your life. Yes, you're not going to have to start dating forever. You're not going to have to keep dating forever. But what you will do is you're going to keep socializing, and you're going to keep socializing to a much larger extent. Be that in a martial arts community, be that in a dance community, be that at music festivals, be that in your doctor, lawyer community, your alumni community, whatever it happens to be. I wish for you that you introduce a much higher level of social interactions into your life. We are not meant to be alone. And once you understand that you have a responsibility to put yourself out there, because, as we alluded to earlier, only then you can be happy, only then you can make the people around you truly happy, then you will actually start taking it serious. And by the way, we as human beings do more for others than we do for ourselves. You are very happy bearing your suffering. You're very loyal to your suffering, and you're going to keep that up for a long time. But if you understand that your legacy, your children's happiness, your unborn children's happiness, your future wife, everybody you're going to get in contact with, that all of their happiness depends, at least in part, on your happiness, well, then you might realize, okay, I might actually have to start doing the approaches. So every time you get a rejection, it's not just for you. It's so you become truly happy. Because energetically, you touch everybody. If you're in a mood, that impacts people. I know we can't quantify it with money, and so many things get quantified with money and raw data, and I'm a fan of that. I'm a German, I like that. For example, in my coach program, we have very structured, systematic, and data-driven processes, of course. But certain things just aren't that quantifiable, but just because something isn't quantifiable, that doesn't mean it isn't very real. So when you do the approach, you do the dating apps, and you understand, oh, it's a finite game that I'm playing in part to meet the right woman, to insert a strategic and systematic element of happiness into my life, I'm doing that so that I can touch people in a positive way. Because if you don't make yourself strong, if you don't make yourself happy on a day-to-day basis, everybody's going to be impacted in a much less positive way than it could be. And by the end of your life, you're really only going to ask yourself a couple of questions. You're going to ask yourself, did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Brandon Burchard says this. Jack Kornfield says, the only question you're going to ask yourself is, did I love well? If you've ever had a near-death experience, or you've thought about it, or you've done death meditations, you've just contemplated the idea of leaving this beautiful existence at some point, then you realize, oh, a lot of the stuff that I actually get upset about, I don't really need to get upset about. It really doesn't matter that much in the end. If you're 110 years old with a neural link in your brain and they're about to take it out and your body's all wrinkly, your balls are down to your knees, at that point, are you really going to keep counting stacks of cash that you've been accumulating so well? Is it really going to matter? No. What's going to matter is the experiences you've had and the experience you've been able to provide to other people. Life is ultimately only about two things: making yourself happy, making other people happy. It's about happiness and meaning. What's meaning? Meaning is increasing positive emotions for other people or other beings and decreasing negative emotions. So, you want to make other people happy, you want to make beings and animals happy, and maybe you want to take care of nature. That is basically it. You make yourself happy, you make other people happy. That is ultimately what it's about. Yes, of course, we need to work hard. Yes, of course, we need to be strategic. Yes, of course, we need to act in a responsible manner. But being responsible also means being happy. Because that's the only thing you're going to take with you in the end when you leave. You're not going to take any raw materials, money, all of that. You're not going to take that with you. None of that will matter in the end. And by the way, the experiences you have, the quality of those, always depend on relationships. The best experiences, the best memories you have are the ones you've made with quality male friends, family members, girlfriends, wife, children. Experiences by ourselves are only ever so good. Why is it, Tony says, that if something beautiful happens to us, we want to share it immediately? Because if we share love, well, then we all benefit from it. The second you're proud of something, you achieve something, something great happens, you want to share it with somebody because that's who we are. That's who we are as human beings. We're meant to connect. And the second we connect with one another, there's an oxytocin release in our brain, cortisol goes down, dopamine goes up, we become neurologically happy. Even just by being around people, your brain quiets down. So, socializing is a very responsible thing to do. Now, how can you be even more responsible? Take the alcohol out of it. Take the other drugs out of it. Stop that nonsense. You don't need to drink alcohol if you go to bars. First of all, you don't have to go to bars and clubs at all. You need to socialize, you need to approach, absolutely. But you don't have to go at night. Now, if you do go at night to bars, which is an amazing place, you really don't have to drink. Bars are a really fun place, especially if they have great live music. It is an absolutely fantastic place. But take the alcohol out of it. Allow yourself to enjoy the emotions you want to enjoy just by feeling the music and taking control of your emotions by controlling what you focus on, your language patterns and your physiology. There are tools that you can learn to control your emotions so you don't depend on liquid confidence. because it is a type A, group A carcinogen. It fosters the growth of 4 or 5 different cancer cells. It is a neurotoxin. Really reduce it. You don't have to cut it out in total. I've a client who's a Winzer, is how we say in German. How do you say? A winemaker, right? Obviously, that's perfectly fine and it's legit. It's part of our culture. But how much do you really need it? Do you do it because it's a special occasion and you want to enjoy it and you enjoy the flavor of it? Or is it something that you need because you haven't developed the skill set of taking control of your own emotions? So be as responsible as you can possibly be in the process of socializing. By the way, when you go out on a Saturday night and then you sleep 6.5 or 7 hours and then you hit the gym, you're going to feel amazing the next day. And if you talk to beautiful women, you get their Instagram and then you schedule a date from that, you will have a high that's going to carry into the next week. Socializing actually makes you more productive. It is a very responsible thing to go and socialize because your brain needs that. Your brain gets a cocktail of neurotransmitters and hormones that make you more productive the next week, because productivity isn't time spent in front of the laptop, it is units of output produced. What increases the probability that the units of output that are produced are of higher quality and more quantity? Your ability to do it, which depends on cognition, which depends on your ability, your emotional resources. And that comes from the emotional state you're in, state-dependent memory. You've had that, where you're sitting in front of some project and you're looking at it, you're like, I can't get it. And you just have a mental block. And then you either go for a walk, you talk to a friend, you leave it for a day, you change your state. And once you're in a different state, all of a sudden, the words come out easily during the presentation, you type the right email effortlessly, you have a brilliant idea for a business deal, for a hire, for some solution. All of a sudden it comes to you because you're mastering your mental and emotional state. So I would love for you to make the experience what it's like to be able to do that, to connect to people and to feel the emotions you want to feel and then transmit them to her through mirror neurons if there's rapport without any substance. I never even really drank caffeine. I started drinking that a year ago and then a week or so-ish, I think I stopped again because I realized for a variety of different reasons. But one was that I just don't want my energy levels to depend on a substance. I always want to be taken serious. One of the reasons I don't drink at all is because if somebody tells you that they love you when they're drunk, I can't take that serious. I want to be taken serious. Now, there's obviously also times where you just want to joke around with your boys or with your loved ones, no problem. That's what I'm talking about. But you know when people are drunk and they're telling you things and you know it doesn't mean because they're not themselves, because their brain there's something in there that's messing with it. So, how beautiful would it be if you were to reduce alcohol to an absolute minimum, maybe even zero, or at least drastically reduce it, so that when people call you and they need you, you're always 100% in the best state of mind. They can always rely on you. And do you know how many times I've been in bars or clubs and women thought that I was on or on alcohol because of the energy that I have? And that's what I bring to clients. We do meditation exercises, bioactive meditation with clients. Active dynamic meditation by Osho. Screw that up a little bit. Very, very powerful stuff. There are so many tools that you can avail of. Emotional freedom technique, meditation, so many of them, right? A lot of the stuff we teach in our coaching program. Apply for a free consultation call with a link underneath this video. Stuff you can find yourself, but assume the responsibility for creating the emotions you want within yourself, and you'll be able to make yourself happy right in that moment as well as when you finally have her. Because remember how I started out with saying you have a moral responsibility to get an amazing woman because she will be a source of happiness and she will make you happy? Yes, that's true. But it is also true that to find her, you have to create those emotions of happiness and excitement and joy and fun and laughter within yourself first to be able to attract her. Because if you think that you can only be happy when you get her, you won't get her. Because she needs the fun and the emotions right from the beginning. And it is something that you can create within yourself. Watch 1 to 2 hours of stand-up comedy per week. Meditate, spend time with quality male friends. Go out into nature. Nature is very powerful. Andrew Huberman has lots of episodes and he's invited guests and he's talked about it at length, how impactful sunlight is and being time in nature. You have to assume the responsibility for making yourself happy right now. Because you can shortcut to happiness in this very moment. If I were to ask you right now, who loves you? Who do you love? Who has truly supported you in this beautiful life? Oh, my baby. If you ask yourself that, my baby. If you ask yourself who loves you, who has truly been there for you in moments where you really needed them and they didn't get anything out of that, how does that feel? If you feel that, close your eyes for a second, if you're not driving. Who loves you? Who do you really love? And it's not transactional, it's just because. Allow yourself to think of a moment that you could feel super grateful for right now. It could be a moment with family members or friends. A magical moment. And don't just think it. See it, feel it, be there. And then open your eyes again. How does that feel? Is there a slight difference in your experience? Experience is co-created in any moment. How you feel is controlled by you. And Gunther Schmidt, one of Germany's best psychologists, he founded a system called hypnosystemic therapy, which is in part based on the systemic approach as well as largely hypnotherapy by Milton Erickson. And it's this idea that there are internal factors that control how we feel and patterns and processes that we can learn to influence and control as well as the external. So obviously having an amazing woman by your side who can hide behind a rock and be all cute, that makes you happy. That is an external systemic source of happiness. Having a cameraman who's so bald that you can see yourself in the reflection of his forehead and him giving you the middle finger. Obviously that's a source of happiness, of course. But you can create your own experience. And the responsible thing is, yes, to get the external right. Absolutely. But to be able to get and attract a woman like that, you have to create those emotions within yourself first. If you want us to help you with that personally, apply for a free crawl, apply, a very anticlimactic ending, apply for a free initial consultation, and keep watching some of those YouTube videos. Take care.